Pictures up.
Pictures up.
Pictures up. Let's roll sound. Rolling.
Rolling.
Sound speed.
Camera speed. Awesome. Take two.
And action.
Hi, and welcome into Meet Me in the Movies Open Dialogue. This is Thomas Manning, and recently had a truly delightful conversation with writer and director Pawo Choyning Dorji, talking about his new film, The Monk and the Gun. This is only Pawo's second feature film, but he's already been nominated for an Oscar. A few years ago, his film Lunana, A Yak in the Classroom was nominated by the Academy for Best International Feature. And this year, The Monk and the Gun was shortlisted in that same category. And hearing Pawo, wax poetic about the art of filmmaking and the concept of happiness, which is so central to the country of Bhutan and is intertwined in every aspect of their society. It was just, I was pretty much just in awe the entire time he was speaking here, and in all of this film as well, The Monk and the Gun, which I can't recommend enough. So I really do appreciate all of you watching and listening, and I appreciate Pawo for just everything he shared and this incredible conversation about The Monk and the Gun. Thank you all for watching and listening, and I hope you enjoy. It's great to meet you, and I appreciate your time today.
Where are you coming from?
I'm in North Carolina in the U.S. So
Wonderful,
yeah, yeah,
wonderful.
little bit of ways from you, but yeah, over here doing well. Yeah.
I actually drove through North Carolina. Very beautiful.
Oh yeah, yeah. Which part of the state did you come through?
Raleigh. I was visiting my friends in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, my sister lives in Raleigh.
Oh, wonderful,
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah, yeah. I'm on the western part of the state near the mountains, but yeah, really do
Ah.
love living here. Yeah. Well, I'm really excited to talk with you about The Monk and the Gun, and I definitely want to head right into it, talking about the concept of happiness, which is
Mhm.
really central to every aspect of life in Bhutan. Um, so
Yeah.
I'd love to get your perspective on the relationship between happiness and the art of filmmaking. Um, for you personally, what has happiness shown you about filmmaking, and what has filmmaking taught you about happiness?
Well, whenever I tell people I'm from Bhutan, usually then the follow-up question is usually, are you happy? Because we are known as the happy country. I mean, we have a ministry of happiness in our country. Imagine that. I think no one else has that. But I always tell people that Bhutan's definition of happiness is very unique because our definition is born out of our Buddhist culture and spirituality. So we always say that I think there's the English saying, wealthy and healthy makes a man happy. But in Bhutan, yes, I think that definition stands true. But then when we talk about wealthy, we don't talk about materialistic wealth, not about a lot of zeros in your bank account, but we talk about contentment. That sense of contentment is the real wealth we talk about. When we talk about health, yes, physical health is important, but we really, by health, we talk about the mind that has the courage to accept impermanence. So out of contentment and acceptance is born happiness, but also we are a country, as a Buddhist country, we believe in the law of interdependence. So we believe that only when the cause and conditions around you have happiness can then self-happiness be achieved. So because of that, we have very, very strange rules and policies in the country. For example, we are in the Himalayas. We are a poor country. All our neighbors like Nepal, India, Pakistan, they make hundreds and thousands of dollars with people trying to climb the high mountains. To climb Mount Everest, you have to pay $100,000 per person, whether you make it or you fail. But Bhutan has stubbornly hung on to the rules of the past, where mountain climbing is illegal. So we are home now to the world's largest number of virgin mountain peaks, mountains that have never been set foot by man. Why do we do that? Because we believe that if our mountains are clean, our environment is clean, that leads to happiness. We have One of our opening chapters in our constitution is that our forest percentage will not drop below 65%, because we believe that keeping our forests thriving will lead to happiness. So right now it's at around 72%. We have a policy on tourism where we limit the number of people coming in, even though our economy will grow with people coming in. So we have all those policies in place, and that has made us the only carbon negative country in the world, which is amazing. So, I'm very proud to come from a country like that. But then again, at the same time, it's difficult to hold on to these values in a world that marches to a very different beat when it comes to happiness. When the world defines happiness by materialistic wealth, it's very difficult for a poor country to try and find their version of happiness. So there's a lot of challenges in that. That's my take on happiness. If you talk about filmmaking and art, and how that is related to happiness, then, well, I always tell people that in my culture, the word for art, the word for creating art is we call it as illusion, the creation of illusion. So art is the creation of illusion and falsehood that leads the audience, us, to reality and the truth. I think as artists, that is a very noble motivation to have to create. And for me, with the films I make, I try to do that. Yes, I'm a Buddhist. Yes, I'm a practicing Buddhist. Yes, I have these inspirations and these motivations. But when I make them, I'm always trying to think of ways where my film can be a medium through which people can connect to their own version of the truth, their own version of reality.
And we also see in this film that community is such a rich part of the culture as well. But I know that the introduction of a more individual mindset has caused some friction in some ways, like we see with democracy in this film. So, for you personally, how do you seek to find that balance between holding on to the importance of community, but also expressing a sense of individuality?
I believe that everything that I have achieved in my life, and even as a filmmaker, is only possible because of the upbringing I had. And I think I've been very lucky, because from a young age I saw the world. I grew up all around the world, and that has really impacted the way I am able to tell stories. I got a modern education. I was, able to travel the world, see everything, and that, I think, helped me become who I am. I always tell people this, that in Bhutan we have a saying, um, one can never see their own eyelashes because it's so close to yourself. My upbringing, my education put me in a position where I was able to take this objective view and see my own eyelashes. So keeping that in mind, I think is very important. That people know that for me, with especially with the monk and the gun, I'm not saying that change and democratization and opening up, modernization is bad. It is accepted. It is inevitable. This has to happen. But what my motivation of telling this story is that I think people need to know, in order to go forward, we need to know where we came from. To know where we are going when we go forward, especially for Bhutan. Holding on to our culture, our traditions, our spirituality is very, very important when we try to find our place in the modern world, especially since we joined this race to modernize, to democratize so late. I mean, as I show in the movie, we were the absolute last country in the world to allow television, absolute last country in the world to allow internet. So, when we opened up that late, it's even more important.
And I also want to talk a little bit about your relationship with your cinematographer. And you've worked with him before. I really love what you accomplished together in this film. I think it was beautifully shot. I really loved the use of backlighting coming through the
Mhm.
windows, and that was something that was prevalent throughout the film. So how did that familiarity between you and Jigme, aid in the production of this film and developing the cinematography?
Oh, for I think the relationship with the director and cinematographer is so important. But for me, I'm very blessed because me and Jigme, we go really, back. We are actually cousins. We're the same age. We grew up together. We grew up like as young children playing with our Transformers and Lego toys, and then eventually we got our first break where we both started our film career on the same film in 2011, where in Sri Lanka, it's a film called Vara, a Blessing. It was directed by our teacher Kensei Norbu, and the cinematographer was Academy Award nominee Bradford Young from The Arrival. For both of us to start our careers under great mentors like Kensei Norbu and Bradford Young, it was amazing. He was the camera assistant, I was the director's assistant, and now fast forward, he's the cinematographer, I'm the director. And I think our relationship and our connection goes beyond just creating stories, because we have that intimate family connection as well. And growing up together, he knows me, I know him, we know what each other, what we want, and we are on the same wavelength as how we want to work. So I think that's been amazing. And he's done amazing jobs, with both the films we have worked on. With Lunana, Yak in the Classroom, he was really limited. He had one camera, he had a solar battery, that was it, and he was able to shoot a film that went from the Himalayas to an Oscar nomination. And with The Monk and the Gun, I think we were in a better position to give him actual camera and actual lighting equipments. And as you can see, he has done an amazing job once again.
He absolutely has, and you all did an incredible job on this film, and it was really a pleasure to talk with you today, Pawo, and I really do appreciate your time, and hopefully we share more conversations in the future, and I'm looking forward to keeping up with whatever you do from here.
Thank you so much, Thomas. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Y'all have a great day. Thank you.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, pictures up.
Pictures up.
Pictures up. Let's roll sound. Rolling.
Rolling.
Sound speed.
Camera speed. Awesome. Take two.
And action.